Hello and welcome to RM Innovation's presentation of It's Time to Embrace Omnichannel. Today we really want to take you on a journey to the why, the what, and the what you can do for Omnichannel. So today we'll start with the why do I need Omnichannel? Because over 83% of shoppers wouldn't know you existed without some kind of a web presence. That's 83% would utilize the web in a search first. 71% would expect to be able to view in-store inventory online. So do you have your product online? Can they see a price? Can they understand what the content? Can they understand the message? Here's some pretty astounding statistical facts. 156 million U.S. consumers own smartphones, and that is increasing by 24% annually. 82 million consumers own tablets, increasing by 57% annually, and 70% use smartphones in store to research and accompany their shopping experience. So let's look at this pretty astounding number. 1.1 trillion in-store sales are influenced by the web. As we look at the web and as we understand how we can better utilize this to each one of our advantages as a small and mid-tier business owner, what are the steps that are going to be necessary for us to understand to get to that? And as we look at the end of this presentation, we will actually dive deep into understanding those events that can actually be quick and easy solutions to making your business relevant in the internet presence. E-commerce is expected to rise 15.5% to $304 billion this year. It's already October. This year's about over, but the biggest months are still ahead of us with the retail holiday season. But 163 million shoppers will complete a purchase online. So when you hear 15.5%, you have to understand that this number is projected to be 32.3% by 2017. That is a third of the business is going to be generated from the internet. So why do you want to utilize an omni-channel solution? You saw the video earlier that Bill showed you, and it was, pretty funny. Was it BS or was it a buzzword? You saw 3 or 4 depictions of how everybody had their own take of what omni-channel is, when in reality, the omni-channel experience is what your customer is demanding. Our customers are there now. They spend 3.5% more than a single channel shopper. So when they have the ability to review a website, to come to an in-store presence, to easily find you in social media, their amount of spend goes up by 3.5%. Pretty astounding number to understanding why you need an omni-channel solution. So here's a breakdown. We know why. We see the statistical numbers. You heard a lot of those in the first presentation from Bill, relevant to 83% of people research the web prior to destinating to your store. Of those 83%, 47% of them will actually physically come to your store from their research online. So what is omnichannel? What is omnichannel? It really is being everywhere all the time, 24/7 for your customer. Your brick and mortar store, into your email campaigns. How are you connecting socially with your customer? How are you using that relevant data to get in touch with your customers? How do you embrace social media? How do you ensure that your Facebook, your Yahoo, your Pinterest are all tied to your brand? How do you maintain a consistent online presence? Store, organize, and analyze data. This is one of the biggest points that we will speak throughout this afternoon's presentation is, do you know where your customer lives? What zip code is shopping with you? What is the average spend per zip code? What is the average spend per county? What is the average size? What is, everything that's relevant to knowing what is your customer asking for? What are your colors? And then last but not least, which really is one of the biggest initiatives, is making sure you're mobile optimized. When we think of 24% annual growth in phones, by 2018, over 80% of every search result will be done from a mobile application. This is where we're heading. We're there already, and it's just going to continue to grow by leaps and bounds into the mobile applications. So that's what omnichannel is. Understanding all of these intricate pieces working together to provide your customer the most optimal shopping experience that they can have. So here's a slide that really shows how the omnichannel works in conjunction with each other. We saw it from the previous side, but do we really understand the platforms? And really, do we embrace the technology solutions that will organize all of our data into one platform? That is vital as we look at the operating systems in our physical plants right now and in our internet-based plants. Does your website work in conjunction with your in-store POS system? Does your website tie in the different social media elements as well as your in-store presence? It's really carrying the commonized message across every platform that's out there. So we'll go ahead and move forward to the next slide. How will you integrate omnichannel? As we think about the solutions that, or not really the solutions, I think that I'd rather not say solutions. As we think about, how we have ran and led our retail stores and our retail commerce presence, years ago, we began to change who we were. We began to become data optimizers. We began to have to learn things like how to get in touch with a vendor to get their data file and an image so we could start putting that into a website. Often it was fragmented. The prices didn't match. We had duplicate UPCs. And so we really had to start developing a whole new technical aspect to what we do. And therefore, you see the first slide, which is product data. That's all these vendors putting their data into a data bank where it's going to be optimized. It's going to look for the errors. It's going to pull it together. And then we see the next slide, which is a data link. This is an automatic product data management system, almost what they call PIM, product information management this day and time, where virtual catalogs now become live, tangible information for your e-commerce site, for your store site. You can do an in-store catalog, an in-store POS system that you can pull this information into, and making the link between the website and the store, utilizing the same informations in varying formats. So the big picture, we know the why, we know the what, but when you think of product data to your store and found everywhere for omnichannel, how do you do it? What are the steps necessary to make it happen? And what does it look like once it's done? There is an investment in time, there is an investment in money to refine this data, put this data in a structure that can be rolled out to your store, to your website, and to utilize it across all of the omnichannel platforms, far be it for mobile, for social, for your email, for your brick and mortar. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to really show you, how you would utilize these systems in place. Obviously, my company does this for a multitude of retailers, and I'm going to take you through some of these scenarios as well as a case study because I really feel it's relevant for you to understand a true case study and to see when you utilize a number of these platforms, how it impacts and what a difference it can make on your business. So let's start with a core inventory management system. Our system happens to be RM Pro. Many of you may use multitude of the retailers that are right outside these doors for a system. But I will tell you, technology has changed the way you should be looking at your management system, your inventory management system and POS system in particularly. The days of super heavy sites, super heavy bills to come with those sites are gone. When you look at the core principles for getting into a POS structure now, you can be talking $299, as low as $299 to have a whole operating system that runs your POS. But you want to look for a system that provides you with core inventory processes that alert you to issues that are happening within your company, that give you the visual dynamics and the visual analytics you need to understand your business, that retains your customers' information, building you a core customer database, and then has smart reporting. And when I say smart reporting, I'm not talking about your standard reports, because I'm going to show you one of those sheets as we move through this presentation, but smart reporting. Does it tell you what your average spend is? Does it tell you where your best performing zip codes are? Does it tell you what your best selling piece of furniture is? Does it tell you what the number one rug size is? Does it tell you by color? That is using data within the omni-channel environment to understand your core competency and your core customer. So let's take a look at one of these reports I'm talking about. We want you to be ahead of the curve. We want you to have robust reporting structure. This reporting structure here could deliver somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,600 reports, which is scary a lot of times. And most of you would ask yourself, what can I do with 1,600 reports? Well, you can't. But what you do is you build your core identifiers for how you wish to understand your business and what acumens will best lead you to the ability to increase your business flow. Here's an example of a zip code report. I know at area code 40502 does $1.1 million of my business each year, which is 10.3%. There is a relative focus to my business. I've quantified everything from 5% and higher, and I can actually see that roughly 70% of my business is done in 6 zip codes. So now we are beginning to use data to drill down to what core competencies we're looking for. Let's look at the next slide. Review your sales, expenses, and returns, and not just review them. Everybody sitting in this room, we've all looked at our books. We've used QuickBooks or we've used Peachtree. We've used a multitude of accounting softwares to continue to balance our books, plus a CPA. But look for programs now that have that integrated. Many of the platforms, such as RM Pro right here, we integrate QuickBooks into the actual core structure of the program. So your books are balanced every day, every hour, every month, in accordance to everything that's powered through your in-house solution. Each one of these functionalities allow you to drill down to see where your expense spend went to see where your core sales were driven from, and to look at projections for what takes you to the next level. And we'll show you that in our next slide. We create the animation. We give you a weekly goal, a monthly goal, a quarterly goal. You can break it down in multitudes of levels because the phrase says it best to the left. If you can focus and you can measure and you can manage, then you can grow. And what you focus on influences you, and what influences you influences your team. So understanding that as your core principle of your business, make every team member engaged. Have the daily meetings, discuss the weekly priorities, even have assigned sales goals to meet your achieved weekly revenue goals. Those are all steps you can take through using a smart, quality inventory and POS system that will lead you to those type of results that you're looking for. So let's see an example. I mean, it's great that I can stand up here before you and talk about the power of what our systems can do, but it's more relevant to talk about the power of what an omni-channel system can do. Whether you used my solution, whether you use any one of the number of our competitors that are right outside this door who build their quality solutions, really is if you utilize omnichannel, irregardless of who you're using and making sure that they can supply you with these omnichannel solutions, that is the question to be answered. So let's take a look at Rug. We'll call this Rug Expo, a company out of California. A company was on average was generating $80,000 a month, 3 locations, heavily operation overhead, I say heavily, but high operation overhead as far as expenditures, low growth margin, sitting on large amounts of unsold old inventory that was not moving. And we're using the traditional means of advertising, just local print publications, occasionally a commercial or two throughout the month. Well, we did a deep dive analysis with Rug Expo. We really went through their overhead cost. We went through their payroll structure. We went through their on-hand and total units and the dollars on hand of merchandise. We looked at their aged inventory. What inventory had been sitting around longer than 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, to have some benchmarks at where we needed to address the concerns. Working with Rug Expo, we were given a high level of autonomy because this individual wanted to turn this business around and knew that if he partnered with the right team, that he could be highly successful with a little guidance. So we looked at all the elements, we looked at all the content, and here's what we did in a partnership as we implemented the RM Pro. So we brought in a core inventory POS system. We'd identified from our initial deep dive research that one of the stores needed to close. It did 6% of the total volume of all 3 stores. So we immediately closed one location, therefore saving capital from rent, capital from employee within the store. And just from a poor sales of 6%, we were able to reduce expenditures by $16,000 simply by closing this one particular store. Keeping in mind that this one particular store, the sales that were generated in this store were less than a 30-mile radius from the headquarters store. So we still knew the opportunity to bring that customer in still existed. 10 months later, we closed a second store. And this was a planned closing because this second store was less than 14 miles from the headquarters store. And we were able to retain the employees, bring them into the really the signature location that was going to be the number one sales plant for Rug Expo. As we looked at it and we understood that 86% of the business was generated from this store, but we understood there was minimal investment in marketing, there was minimal investment in TV, there was no investment into social media, and none into a web presence or a website. We began to plan the structure. One was building a website. We knew that would take some time. We wanted it to be thought through and understood how to rebrand the company's name to integrate to the company as well as to the website and make that connection between the two. We also asked that we increase the monthly marketing budget by almost 400%, to where on average we would be spending $8,000 a month. So it's a lot to digest and understand. Build a website, put $8,000 into marketing, and have a functioning POS inventory system that's integrated. Here's the results. Remember what we said, $80,000 a month equated to $960,000 a year. Year one, $1.4 million. We've put the locomotion into gear at this point. We're moving it down the track. So we picked up almost $500,000 in sales growth in the first year. The second year, 2012, $1.9 million. Now we've just picked up $1 million. Look at 2013, $2.6 million. Would you say the $8,000 a month investment worked? I would say it did work, and it more than worked. It understood who the customer was and how to appeal to them. And then this year they're projected to do $3.2 million. So integrating the right system, utilizing the right avenues of omnichannel can deliver you success far beyond what you think the reach of that could be. So what can you do? We just now looked at a case study. We've looked at why. We've looked at what is omnichannel, but what can you do instantly? And the number one thing that I'm going to sit here and say is you must have a website with e-commerce. A few variations, you can see screenshots, whether it's a tablet or mobile, but your site must be easy to navigate, have a search, narrow filter capabilities, have updated product information, show high-res images, show prices, have videos attached, consistently integrate your information system. So how do you connect your web presence to your in-store solutions and have a mobile optimized site? It's huge. We know everything's moving to mobile. Keep that in mind, that we've got to have a mobile optimized site. So let's continue to talk about what you can do. Here's real simple facts. A lot of what we're going to talk about requires an investment of time and very minimal investment, of any, on money. So that's a good thing that can be done. Register your business. Google Places, Yelp, Bing. 70% of all web-influent purchases use search. And over half of the searchers use it through the entire process. So being registered, being found, being able to be sought out from the internet is right here. And it's free. You can do this all free. Let's look at what else you can do. Omnichannel strategies. Provide free Wi-Fi to anyone in the store. And you think about that, $149 router, a dedicated $50 a month fee for a dedicated line, which you probably already have cable running somewhere into your store if you're using a business solution. What this does is, what about customers cross-shopping? 10 years ago, we talked about cross-shopping, and we didn't want somebody to come in and look at the product and then go home and buy it online. Well, now we're at the reverse point of that. They're coming into your store, they're looking, and then they're shopping you online. So what a better sales tool than any to allow them to shop you online, to allow them to see that that rug's being sold at a MAP price that nobody can go below, and then to see that your price is $20 less than that inside your store. Because if you build your business that way, You show that the power of your brick and mortar store is just as effective as the web present power out there, and it allows you the chance to bring in customers you typically might not have. It's the simplest, easy thing to do. Keep in mind, McDonald's, Burger King, restaurants all over the place, Macy's, anywhere in a mall, all are providing free Wi-Fi now. Why? Customers are demanding it. Simple solution. I would recommend that you do this. Use story building to improve your brand experience. Record your own video from inside your store. A 30-second video, record it right from your phone. Post it on your YouTube channel, which is associated to your store, brick and mortar, and your website. It boosts SEO. It allows your brand to get out there, and it's simple and, quite honestly, easy to do. Sell more products with customer reviews. Provide customer reviews, whether it's on your website or social media. I'll speak a little more to the social media aspect of it because we want to see those reviews on your Facebook page. We want to see those on Pinterest. We want to see it on Twitter. We want to see the feedback. But let me challenge you out there too. We want to see negative feedback. It shows that you're real. It shows that you've had a problem, and it shows that you can address a problem. A lot of retailers I know will clear their poor comments from their social media sites. And when you go to an Amazon or you go to an Overstock, they don't clear their 5-star rating sites. If it's a 1-star, it's rated a 1-star, and the person's descriptive is there. You should do the same thing. It shows that you're real. It shows that you're willing to address any issue that exists. And it's a reminder that, you could have an internal problem, or you could have the opportunity to do even more. So that would be my... So as we talk about enhanced customer service with a holistic approach, let's understand that we talk about our social media presence. We talk about how we communicate through our site with our customers. When you think about enhanced, it's about how do they call into your 1-800 number? How do they call into your service numbers? How are they engaged? If you have the ability to have a service who manages your website that has the pop-up that says, hello, this is John Smith, I'm here to help you. When you think of those type of enhancements, that's taking it to a whole different level, but yet that one-on-one personal touch still continues to create the sensation that the customer is being dealt with in a special way. So there are things we can talk about enhanced customer service that, they're above and beyond type options that we can continue to do. So let's look at a few more because we're really coming down to the end of what we can do, and I want to make sure that we focus on some of the ones that are really becoming the trend topics out there right now. In-store pickup and ship from store. We continue to see this. We've seen major companies. You heard me speak earlier to being the vice president at Macy's, and the amount of effort and strategy we put into in-store pickup was phenomenal to create this solution. Our customers are demanding this now. They could go online, they could order it from your website, and instead of shipping it to them, for whatever reason they may not want it shipped to them, it might be a gift for their spouse, maybe a gift that they don't want somebody else to see. Whatever the case may be, offer the ability to pick it up in store. Same thing, offer the ability to ship it from store. They could be shopping with you in there and want to ship it from your store, but you have to have congruency from your internet site to your store site. There can't be a vast fluctuation in price, and this is the perfect time to offer incentives. So if they're going to ship from the store, maybe you give them a $25 bounce back coupon for doing that. These are enticement levels that show value to the customer, show your willingness to participate, and create a long-term shopping effect with this particular client and with all your clients. Let's look at the next one. Maintain brand consistency. Okay, this is a big one out there. I see this all the time in the home furnishing industry. I come to my website, I have a shot of my store, looks fairly good, and then I click on your home page, and it's a picture of two people standing in the middle of a store. Maintain the branding. All the companies that we know today, whether it's an Amazon or whether it's a JCPenney's, the branding does not change. Even though you might be a smaller mid-tier business, you should have the same branding structure. Your brand is your brand, and consistency in the brand is what the customer becomes more engaged to look for. So please make sure that if your social media sites have different names, different imagery, that you get everything consistent across the board. This is a really big must, and I just challenge you to make sure that you're doing that consistently. Voice your expertise and boost SEO with a blog. Blog makes your site relevant. People want to be engaged. They want to have a topic that they can feel like they're part of or they can voice their opinion of. So on a Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, after a busy weekend, look at TechCrunch. Look at the industry news publications. Find a topic that interests you, that is associated to what you do and to your business, and write some content about it. Create a discussion. Let people become engaged. A, it helps your SEO, but B, it allows people to be part of your organization and to contribute as a part of your organization. It's an easy way to do it. You've just got to dedicate 30 minutes, an hour of your time to make this happen. And I think this is our last slide. Analyze web presence to pinpoint room for improvement. And there's a couple of ways to look at that. Analyzing your own internal web presence is particularly of a strong value to understand, is your site performance where it should be? Are you capturing the right information the way that you need to communicate back to your clientele? Are you pulling in the right data to help you make smart buying purchases? And the second part of analyze web presence is look at your competitors. Visit your competitors' sites. Understand what they're doing. Understand what the catchphrases are. Understand what the allure to shopping sales incentives that they're offering. So you need to do it both. You need to do it internally as well as externally to understand what is happening in the market space. So when you really talk about these 8 factors of omnichannels, there's a reason you want to have this conversation, because right here on this slide, it tells you only 12% of you in this room have a mature omnichannel experience. And mature is using probably 5 of the 6 omnichannel solutions we showed you consistently. So there's a vast room for improvement. There's another fact that goes along with this. E-commerce is going to rise to 32.3% by 2017 from Google Analytics reporting. It's already at 15.5 this year. So 15.5% of people don't mind buying a sofa online, don't mind buying a chair online, don't mind buying a mattress online, don't mind buying a rug online. So the consumer has already voted for this. Now it's our time to deliver. The other statistic that goes over that is that in 2017, if you don't have an internet presence, 37% of people will be closing their doors. That's a reality. If 32% of the business is going to move to the internet and you don't move to it by 2017, you're either going to be boxed out because the market grab's already going to be established and the key players are already going to be matured in the internet search results. So the time is now. This is not something you can wait. The slide clearly says it. Don't hesitate. Your consumers are ready. They're immersed. They're doing this. There's a reason that Amazon, Wayfair, Overstock, you name them, get larger because they've quantified the data, they've standardized the data, and they've put it in a structure to make it easy to shop. You have all these same tools provided to you. There's solutions, whether I've created them, whether the companies that you're partnering with currently have created them, the solutions exist. You need to ask the question, how are they going to make you relevant in this space? How are they going to make you just as competitive? Because all the tools are there. There's no reason that in your market should an Amazon penetrate higher than you or an Overstock penetrate higher than you. With a proper website, proper marketing within that website, core customers want to shop within a 20-mile radius. You can dominate this space. You can take this business away from those large .coms. Don't fear it, embrace it, but don't wait and don't hesitate. You have to move at a much faster pace. 2015 is less than 2 months away from us right now. So that's my soapbox pitch as far as how we want to look at the business. But let me take you to the next slide. And here's where I'll tell you. We talked about whether you use another competitor that's right outside this door, whether you want to talk to myself and my company with our experience and what we do from omnichannel solutions and core POS systems and even optimizing data. There's help. And I want you to walk away from here thinking, I'm empowered. I now have some tips and techniques. I know what omnichannel is and how I need to get into this omnichannel presence. But ask the question. Ask for the help. This is the future. This is where we're going. And I encourage you to just begin taking the steps to get there. There's enough of us here. There's enough people within this industry that will help you grow your business and help you move in the right direction and provide you with the right information. And that's just the message I really want you to take away today as you think about it. So if you have the opportunity, we're going to be at High Point Market Center on October 18th through the 23rd. We would love to have you stop by Space 10 in the Retail Resource Center. And I wish you a wonderful day. And myself and my staff will be available right after this meeting to actually come over to booth 10. If you're getting this on the PDF and you're watching this on your PC or your tablet or your laptop at home, you can contact us at www.rminno.com. You can even call our office at 888-488-9517, extension 107 or 108, and we will make sure that we get in touch with you, make sure we get one of our career counselors that actually works from the consulting end first to really understand your business. And, we welcome your call. We look forward to seeing you empowered and to you taking the future back. Thank you and have a great afternoon.